What is your favorite childhood TV show?
I would say Zaboomafoo. I love Zaboomafoo. I will literally, I am not going to, but I could sing the theme song if I wanted to, but I will not. But Zaboomafoo was my all-time favorite. hmm
So you was a PBS kid then.
I was a PBS kid. I was a no cable having kid. hmm It was
I
PBS
love
all the
every
way.
ounce of that.
Yep.
I would
Caillou.
have never guessed.
Caillou got a lot of hate for no reason.
All right, so first of all, no, his hate was warranted. He was a bald-headed menace
He was
who
annoying.
he only lived to get mad at his little sister Rosie, which
That
was
is
uncalled
true.
for.
That is
How
true.
how do you how do you how do you vouch for that?
I mean, I can't, but it's like, okay, so it's like a kid watching a younger kid. It's not an adult watching a kid. So it was kind of, I was looking at Caillou like, oh my gosh, this little, what was he, 2 years old, 4 years old or whatever? And I'm
I'm
thinking,
just a kid who was
okay,
four. Yeah, he was
yeah, I'm
four.
like, okay, it's me, a little kid watching another little kid. But me as an adult, now I'm like, okay, yeah, that was a bad kid, you know. But at the time, I was thinking, oh, Caillou, he's, whatever, Caillou, Caillou, that's me. Like, you know,
Stop the madness.
I know. It's songs stick in my head. I literally remember all the theme songs.
Bro, that's rich. But okay, so you're a PBS kid.
hmm
When I think of PBS, I immediately think of Between the Lions and Cyber Chase.
hmm Which one? What was the second one?
Cyber Chase.
I vaguely remember that one.
It was the
Vaguely.
one. It was the one with the computer, the motherboard, and they were just like on the internet, just as shenanigans ensue, they solved problems. It was a whole thing.
Sounds familiar, but I don't know. I remember the title, I think, but I don't remember actually watching it. I think it might have been one of those that I wasn't as interested in.
I,
Was it before or after Dragon Tales?
I'm asleep. I don't know. It probably was after. But okay. Now, next question. What was one of your favorite like childhood toys or playthings? Like that one thing that you got for Christmas. You was like, this is the best thing ever. Or what you got for your birthday. Like, this is the best gift ever. What was that for you?
So I'm gonna say ironically, well, not so ironically, but there was one year for Christmas that I was gifted a flute. And I was really excited about it because I had been wanting to learn how to play the flute for the longest time. And so I was gifted a flute and I taught myself the flute with that gift. And I was, yeah. So that was by far the most special gift that I remember.
That is so dope. And how old were you when you got that?
I think I was in, if I'm not mistaken, I think I was in seventh grade. So, and I skipped a grade. So I was a year younger than everybody else. So I might have been 11,
Hmm.
maybe. Yeah, I might have been 11, I want to say. Yeah.
That is so dope.
Yeah.
And that perfectly segues into
Right.
just so the first time I came across one of your videos, I think it was the video when you had mashed up a classical song with either Meg Thee Stallion or Cardi B. And I
Mm.
was like, what is this melody?
Yeah.
I, I must follow this person. So this is probably, I want to say, it's like mid to early to mid 2022. And I was
hmm
like, yo, follow because
Thank
this
you.
is this is magical.
I
So
appreciate that.
you're you've made a name for yourself as Trapsicle on
hmm
TikTok from just like specifically that platform. That was where I first came across your stuff, and I was like, this is amazing. So how long have you been playing the piano? Like you mentioned the flute as a gift, but
hmm
you making waves through the piano. So how did that journey with the keys start?
Yeah, so I've been playing piano for about 15 years. I do consider myself self-taught, but I did take lessons when I was about 5 years old, but it was only for a couple of months. And then I grew up in band in between when I stopped taking lessons and when I started up with piano again. So there was a pretty big gap in between the two. And I didn't start up with piano again until I was in about the ninth grade. And I wasn't taking lessons. I had just, taken all my knowledge from band and everything like that. I was introduced to classical music while I was in band. And with that, I started teaching myself how to play those pieces that I learned in band on piano. And that's kind of where that journey started. And yeah, it was so crazy because I just remember when I first started with piano, when I first started teaching myself, it was kind of like in secret because I know it's a weird situation, but it was kind of in secret where I wasn't as open about it. And so, I just taught myself and little by little I just learned more and more. And then little like over the years I wanted to challenge myself even more. And then now we're here in present day.
No. So what prompted you to start playing on social media? Like when did you think, let me just start posting stuff? Like did you start at first on TikTok or did you do it on other platforms or how did that journey begin?
Yeah, so I had actually started on Instagram first and I was really
Mhm.
excited. I remember because like the day that Trapsicle was formed was the day that I was gifted my current piano as a graduation gift from college. And so I was really
Mhm.
excited about that. And I had been doing trapsicles in a sense, but I didn't have that name yet. And so I was really excited about that. And I was like, oh my gosh, now I can actually do this and post them. And so it started on Instagram. I did I uploaded or I created a page and everything like that. And I started posting on there pretty frequently. And I was one of those that really tried so hard to not download TikTok. But you know what? I am fully embracing the fact that I am a sucker for social media. I love it. I am addicted to it. I do not care because it's just the serotonin, like there's doomless scrolling and then there's learning things and there's so much that you can learn from social media. And so I thought, okay, I do have a degree in business. You need to follow the masses, and the masses are on TikTok right now. And so I went to TikTok, I downloaded it. I specifically remember the number that I had of followers was 32 when, like, I think a couple months or even a year after I had even downloaded the platform. And then, yeah, it started off with those 32 followers. I'm just thinking about how crazy it is that in present day there's so many people that follow me and I actually bring joy to their daily lives, which is crazy to even think about over piano. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Mhm. Now, how did it feel going viral for the first time? Like when I say viral, I mean either over 10K views on a single video or over 100K views on a single video or, anything beyond that. What was that first video like? It was like, oh snap, wait a minute. This is a lot of people have seen.
It was crazy. And you know what? It's funny because I feel like there's the good thing with social media and the bad thing with social media, or the good thing with going viral and the bad thing with going viral. So the first video that I ever did that went viral was of me doing it was, everything that I post is pretty much a joke. Like I think I'm pretty, straightforward when I am being serious about something, but for the most part, I like keeping my page lighthearted and fun and whatever. So the first video that went viral that I posted, it was a joke of the stereotypes of self-taught, like artists. I'll say artists in general because um quick little segue. I remember I had a coworker. It's almost like if you meet somebody and they say that they're an actor in LA or a model in LA, you're thinking like, okay, whatever, sure, right? Everybody's a model in LA. So I had a coworker that did pottery, and she's like, "Oh, I'm an artist," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then I saw her work, and I'm like, "Oh, she's an artist. Like, wow, this is really good, right?" And because everybody in the Bay Area is an artist, so it was kind of based off of that. But then it was also based off of the I guess, general stereotypes. It was half joke, half personal experiences. And so the
Mhm.
first video that I ever posted that went viral was it was just a pan of me and my piano. And I was just like, oh, when I tell people that I play piano, and I said, what society thinks I play? And I played Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I said, what strangers think I play? And I played, I think, chopsticks, because everybody knows chopsticks that doesn't play any sort of musical instrument whatsoever. And then I said, what other pianists think I play? And I played River Flows in You. And I said, what people in band think I play? And then I played a very popular, piano piece. It was Mozart's Sonata in C major that like all band people know. And then
Mhm.
I said what I actually play. And then I played the end of Moonlight Sonata, like this really difficult part. And it was funny because I remember the moment I posted it, I didn't think anything of it. I just posted it like I do
Mhm.
anything else. And I posted it really late at night. It was like Tuesday night at 8 p.m. or something. It was relatively late because I had been trying to follow the algorithms, and they're saying, like, don't post too late, don't post too early. And so I had posted it pretty late at night. And I woke up in the morning and I literally checked my notifications and it said the 99 plus. And I was like, wait, that's not right. And then I clicked it and I was like, wait, what? And I see all these comments, all these likes, all this stuff. And I'm like, it was kind of like a high because I'm like, oh my God, nobody has ever seen, I have never had this much traction on my page. And
Mhm.
because piano is something that I'm so passionate about, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is my chance. Like, this is my chance to share my trapsicles with the world and everything. And I was so excited, scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. And it was funny because in one of those little segments that I did, like, oh, what other people think I play, I said, what Black people think I play. And the first
Mhm.
thought that came to mind was gospel, but I don't know how to play gospel on piano. It's kind of simple, I guess. I could have tried to learn it in the moment, but I was really excited about the concept of the video that I was trying to hurry up. So I'm like, okay, what's next? Like, I can't play gospel. What's next? So I played Scott Joplin. And yeah, I see in retrospect how that could have been taken wrong because as many positive comments as there were a lot of, people in my own community coming after me saying, I can't believe you're talking down on your own community. Like Black people think you play saloon music. And me, from the pianist perspective of it, I'm thinking, wait, what? Saloon music? Like, why are you reducing Scott Joplin to saloon music? Like Scott Joplin
Mhm.
is the king of ragtime. He's one of my favorite composers. And I love playing ragtime. That's one of my favorite genres to play. And so I'm
Mhm.
thinking, why are people like upset about this? I'm confused. But then looking back with history, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see how, the silent films, ragtime, everything. So looking back, I was like, oops, my bad. But you know,
Y'all
I'm
be
like,
good
okay,
though.
lesson learned. And I did post, it's funny how like I did post the clarifying video, like, hey y'all, obviously I didn't mean to be offensive in any means. I love playing ragtime. I think it's perfectly fine for me to play ragtime. Ragtime or syncopation in general is used in so many different styles of music. And
Mhm.
so I was saying, you know, I'm gonna keep playing it. I don't see anything wrong with it. I didn't mean like obviously I overlooked the correlation, so that was my bad on my part. But of course, nobody sees the clarifying video part as much as they do the original video. So it was
Of
one of
course.
those. So I'm just like, damn.
That is beautiful. And that's the thing. When a video gains traction that you didn't even expect, it's like, oh, I'll just post this, whatever. And then
Mhm.
that's the one that goes ham. And
Right.
then it's be the video that you put so much effort into, like, all right, this one will pop
Exactly.
37 views and like 3 likes.
Exactly.
All right.
Do not get me
Well,
started on that. That be making me so mad too. That be making me so
yeah.
mad.
Now, in videos that get a lot of traction, and you think about engagement, and you mentioned there's the positive feedback and also the negative feedback.
Mhm.
How do you handle engagement on your posts? And like with stuff that you don't even expect people to be upset about, but
Right.
somehow,
Mhm.
some way, people find a way to be like, no, bad. What do you? I was just playing the keys.
Right,
What are you?
right.
So how do you handle engagement on your posts and specifically like negative engagement when people are like upset with you? Like how do you handle trolls? Like how do you handle negativity on the social medias?
Yeah, so it's funny because I just use it for a win. So any negative comment, and that's one of the things that I really like about social media now is just being able to use the comments as video responses. And so any negative comment that I get, I use that as I'll respond to it, but I won't address the comment itself. So I'll respond it and I'll talk about my
Mm.
music, or I'll respond it and talk about my page. And there was one video in specific. I have a couple examples of this, but there was one video in specific where it was a dad joke because those have been going crazy on my page, and so I'm like, okay, traffic is traffic, which is good, whatever. So it was a dad joke. It related, it talked about Donald Trump, but it was just a simple dad joke. I thought people would understand that it's a joke, and like you said, there's always that one person. So somebody commented and they were just insulting me over this dad joke. And it was funny because it was right before I had new music coming out. And so I saved the comment and I didn't just favorite it because, like, if you favorite a comment and then they delete it later, then it disappears from your favorite. So what I'll do is I'll do a video response to the comment, and then I'll just do record 1 second or something and then just save it as a draft to make sure that that comment doesn't go anywhere. And so I had just released my music and I used that comment specifically as clickbait. Didn't address the comment at all. They were insulting me and saying this and that, you're brainwashed, blah, 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 blah. Didn't address that person at all. I literally filmed a video of myself saying, so, anyways, I just released 2 new pieces and I'm really excited about it. I would love it if you guys would go and check it out. One of them's called this, the other one's called this. I'm trying to get it to 50 uses by the end of the week. Just didn't even address the comment. But the thing is you could have 1,000 positive reviews and you could have one negative review, and people are going to focus on that one negative review. And in
Mm.
this instance, they might hear what I'm saying, but they're going to go click on that comment, which is going to go back to my page, which is still a win win situation. They're still seeing this comment thinking, what could she have possibly said for this person to react the way they did? And they're going to click on that comment and go back to the dad joke and say, oh, this is funny. Are there other dad jokes? And they're going to go to the other dad jokes. And they're going to see, oh, she plays piano at the end of each dad joke. What else does she play? And then they're going to go to my simple covers list. So I'm telling you, like, it's a win win situation.
When I tell you the amount of strategy and
Yes.
tactfulness that you
Mm-hmm.
just exhibited,
Yep.
yes, that
I'm
is.
telling you.
And when it comes to it's specifically building a brand on social media, or you're trying to build, like you're just trying to build honestly in public. Like that's what social media is when you're trying to build a
Mm-hmm.
brand, trying to build a business, trying to build anything. Everything is just you doing something in public.
Right.
And I remember seeing a video of yours when um, you were working through anxiety of playing the piano in public, like in public spaces. And that was
Mm-hmm.
such a dope thing, like watching you overcome fear in public and in public for real. So it's like the way you use social media to not only, entertain and show people dope skills and dope things that you're interested in. It's also a dope way to inspire other people to not just, play the keys or post social media, but like get over fears or get
Mm-hmm.
over self-doubt, get over self-judgment in ways that many people have difficulties with. And that's what a
Right.
lot of social media also has become. It's like it's a pathway to something new or something else that people are either yearning for, or it's like, oh, I didn't even think about it like that. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of what I've seen with your stuff is like the very essence of merging classical music with trap music. A lot of people have not seen that before. So that is
Yeah.
amazing. That's genuinely amazing. Like that's art in and of
Thank
itself. Like
you.
creativity at its finest. Like you're taking one thing and mixing it with something else that's unexpected. It's like, oh, this is fire. Yes.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Yeah. When you consider life beyond social media, like what
Mm-hmm.
are things that people who they followed you because of the keys or they followed you because of dad jokes, But like, what are some things that people who follow you would never expect to know about Cassidy? Like, oh snap, I didn't know. I I'm sure people who follow you because of the keys they didn't know that you also could play the flute if they never saw any
Right.
content related to that. So like, what are some other things that people are like, oh wow, I didn't know that. Oh, that's a cool thing, or something that you don't talk about on TikTok or whatever, but it's like actually I would like people to know this.
Yeah, I think it's funny because when I look at my life outside of piano, and I wouldn't say so outside of social media, but outside of piano specifically, I don't really do much. I think I would like to start doing more, but I think it's just a matter of like I do have a full 9 to 5 job and everything like that. And I do really, spend a lot of time on my passion. Like I'm glued to my piano every second. So I don't really do much. I would say the one thing, I have hobbies here and there. I like biking. I like Sudoku. Oh, that's one. So I do these things called Project Sudoku. I'm such a nerd, but it's okay. I'm embracing it. But it was funny because I think I started this maybe 2 years ago, or it might have been quarantine year when I started it. But pretty much what Project Sudoku is, I'm addicted to Starbucks. Everybody knows this. I'm always at Starbucks. And so I realized I need to diversify my coffee intake, like I need to try other places other than Starbucks. So what Project Sudoku is I will go to a new coffee shop and I will complete a Sudoku puzzle, at least one Sudoku puzzle. And then I kind of just review the place, review the ambiance, and just say like, oh, the coffee that I ordered was this. It was really good. I also ordered this. It was really good. And then I'll just tag the location and everything, and then just like take pictures of the space, the coffee, the food, and my Sudoku puzzle. So that's one thing that I do that's really fun. I have not been doing it as often. I do travel a lot for work, so I'll make sure that I try to get one of those in another state, and that's really fun. But I just need to be better about posting about it. Um, and then another thing is I teach conversational English, and that has been really fun. I've been doing that for about 3 years. And I started volunteering for that when I was in college. And then after I graduated, I used to work at UC Berkeley in the international office, and I
Mhm.
started the program there. And then when I left UC Berkeley, I took the program with me and I kept doing it, but it's really fun. And it's just like a way to help international students and visiting scholars with English conversation. Because
Mhm.
there's a huge difference. Anybody who has learned a second language or is learning a second language will tell you that the formal language that they're learning and the conversational language that they're learning are two different things. So I'm not a professional English teacher, but I do help with conversational English, so people can know what ate and left no crumbs means or something like that, things like that. Like it's literally focused around slang and idiomatic phrases. Literally, that's what it is. So it's really fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really fun. I
That
really do
is
enjoy
that is so dope. And I don't think you understand how okay, so background. So I'm getting my PhD in sociology right now.
Oh, wow.
Um, I have a sub-concentration in sociolinguistics.
Oh, okay.
So understanding like the ins and outs of language and how we use it in daily life. I also can speak Spanish and Portuguese and like elementary French.
Mhm.
So the when you just said I teach people like how to speak, oh my gosh, that
That
is
is so cool.
oh
I think
yo.
it's so important too because that's like it's not a fight that I fight often, but every time it's brought up, I think that it's so important that everybody knows at least two languages, whether it's their native tongue and another one, or well, obviously native is going to be one of them, but like whether it's their native tongue and another one, like I feel like people really should learn more than one language because it's like by learning another language, you automatically can connect with so many other people, like so many more people. So yeah.
If you were
Hmm.
born in the US, we're such a monolingual society that
Yep.
it's kind of mind-numbing.
Right.
And the expectation that if you're in the US, you should speak English. And then like there's like xenophobia and racism
Hmm.
that's baked into all of that. But regardless, the fact that you're saying I want to help people navigate life here, especially if you're an international student, like
Hmm.
that is so dope. That is you don't talk about that stuff on TikTok. That is amazing.
I don't talk about it enough because I love like I made one post about it, but on my main page I do try to keep it as piano related as possible. So even if I am talking about something that's not piano related, I'll be trying to play while I'm talking, which is really hard. So I did talk about the it's called English conversation tables, and I did talk about those ones. But yeah, it's really fun. And then I also speak Spanish too. It was my minor, and it was funny because for my major I had to study abroad, and so I was like, everybody else is flocking to Europe, and I'm like, no, I want to go to South America. And so I went to Chile, and I was all excited. I had been studying Spanish for 10 years at this point. I was all excited. I get off the plane. The first person that talked to me, I said, what? I said, what you what? And they said it again. I was like, is this what? I'm like, look, I was they was using vosotros, and I'm like, wait, we were taught that vosotros was only in Spain. Like, what is going on? I'm not in Spain. What is going on? I was so
Yo.
shocked, and I remember I was so disappointed, obviously in myself, because I felt so inadequate. I'm like, what have I been learning for 10 years then? Like, what the heck? And so I get the frustration. And I had only studied abroad for a month and a half. So I can't even imagine PhD students studying abroad for 6 years, 7 years. And I only could imagine like the tiny sliver of frustration that they have to deal with when they're like, I've been studying English for so long, and I get over and it's like, what does busing mean? Or what is eight down, whatever. And I'm like, there's so many, and especially the way that American or, people from the United States talk too, depending on what region you're in. Like, I can't understand a New Yorker sometimes. Like, what's a John? Like, John Smith? Like, what? I had to look that up one time because they were saying it in a movie so many times. And I'm like, John, like who? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, that's like shoddy over here or something like that. Like I don't know. And I felt
It's an
like I even said that
indefinite
weird.
noun.
I
That
don't
is
know these things.
hilarious. And so you were in Chile for you said a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I had the same type of experience. I lived in Nicaragua for 2 months in
Mm-hmm.
2016. And it was like, yeah, the Spanish that you learn in school, or even the Spanish that you hear like wherever you live. So like I grew up so I'm originally from Baltimore City, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school at UMD College Park. I'm University of Maryland College Park. And a lot of the Spanish that I was even used to hearing just around me, just in regular life, was more often than not Mexican Spanish.
Right,
So
right.
then I get to Central America and I'm listening to like Nicaraguan Spanish. Like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what does that? What? Say that one more time.
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I understand exactly what you're talking about. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
is that is amazing. Okay, now even thinking about traveling, actually, where else have you traveled before outside of the U.S.?
So I haven't.
All right, so just
I
Chile, we got it.
Yeah, just Chile. That was because, and it's not that I don't want to travel. It's just that I literally like living in the Bay Area is so expensive. Like it's, and I have it on my agenda for the near future. And I know it's one of those things where it's like, just book the trip and do it. I do want to travel more. I really want to go to just like Spanish speaking countries. I haven't been to Mexico yet. Um, I would like to go to I'm trying to think Guatemala, and I'm trying to Peru. I really want to go to Peru. I'm trying to go for my 30th birthday. I don't know if that's gonna happen because that's like in 2 seconds. Not really, but like 4 months. So I don't know. I need to travel more. I just don't, which is not that great.
I got you. Okay. Now, I wonder, like going back to specifically TikTok, social media and stuff, what is one thing that you know now about having significant traction on a social media account that you wish you knew beforehand? What are some lessons that you've gathered from like being on social media consistently and like being a content creator consistently?
So I think the best way to relate to people that genuinely follow you would be to be as transparent as possible. And I feel like I do a pretty good job with that. I'll let people know because honestly, I feel like it's kind of a two-way street, like I'm creating content. And it's funny even saying that because like 5 years ago, I never would have thought of myself as a content creator. And I still kind
Mm.
of don't. I feel like I'm a pianist on social media type of thing. And so it's funny like hearing that term in reference to me because I don't know, it's just I don't know, but I think there's also a stigma about content creators too. So maybe that might be why I don't see the similarities. I don't know. But I think the thing is being as transparent as possible. So I will be vulnerable with the people that follow me, especially because they've been there since the beginning. There's like people that follow me and they're new every single day, but I will be vulnerable on that page if I'm feeling vulnerable. I will be sad if I'm feeling sad. I will be frustrated if I'm feeling frustrated. It's never going to be the cookie cutter version of me. And so I think in the beginning, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say that I ever did only post the cookie cutter version of me, but I think in the beginning I was just a lot more careful about what I posted and especially thinking like, oh, I have family on here or I have people that I actually know on here, things like that. And so it was
Mm.
more so, oh, am I going to be judged? Is this embarrassing whatever? That has gone out the window. I'm like, look, as soon as I posted the first dad joke, I'm like, I done found my tribe. Like, we in this together. We about to be corny. We about to be quirky. We about to be awkward because that's just who I am. And it's funny because honestly, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is going pretty well because usually I don't do that well with people I don't know. Like, I feel like I am a very awkward person. But I think since we're talking about piano, I feel a lot more comfortable. But yeah, I feel like I am very awkward and quirky and whatever. And so I feel like a lot of times, like growing up, I would have to kind of mask that a little bit because I would get, you know, teased for being, in band and not playing sports or listening to classical and not listening to rap and hip hop. I would get teased for that type of stuff. So it took a long time for me to kind of really embrace that. And then the funny aspect of everything, like that's just who I am in general. Like I'm so corny. I'm so corny. Like every single opportunity I get, I'm going to take it. And so, I really do think that being transparent is the number one thing. And so, like, I can be mad on my page. I could be, because it's my space. And that's the thing. It really is truly my space. I'm inviting people into my space. They're more than welcome to come into my space. If they act a fool, I'm going to use their comments as clickbait to direct them back to my space. So it's like, it's really, I think being transparent and another thing that I learned, and I've always heard this, but I didn't realize it until my last two releases. And this isn't discounting my friends or my family because I'm not really talking about them, but I'm talking about other people and how if other people have something that they're trying to market or other people have something that they're trying to sell, how it is so true that nobody will hype you up better than strangers on the internet. Like it is so true.
Mm.
But I say that in exaggeration. Like, obviously, my family has hyped me up since day one. Obviously, my friends have hyped me up since day one. And there's a couple friends that I think of in specific where I'm like, they were really there since day one. They're always sharing my stuff, always reposting, always encouraging me, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But the strangers on the internet are like drunk girls in the girls' bathroom at a club. I'm telling you, it is crazy. And I felt so much love with these last two releases. And the first release that I did, of course, there was love there, but the last two was overwhelming. Like people were excited about it, like before having even heard it. And I was really like that really touched me. And I was really
Hmm.
excited about that because the last release that I did, I was talking about it, and you know how the algorithm be, yeah, the algorithm be algorithming. But the last release that I did, it was not pushing out the video about my piece, and I was really excited about it, and I was just let down because of the fact that the algorithm was being annoying. And so these last two releases, I was really trying to get the word out sooner. And people were like, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Let us know when it drops, blah, blah, blah. And they were just like, just bought it, just added it to my playlist, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, you guys, like, I don't even know you guys, and you guys are here genuinely supporting me. Like, crazy, crazy. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful because that is wild to me, you know?
Hmm.
So yeah. Sorry, that was kind of long.
We are here for the stories.
Yes.
That was not kind of long at all. You could have kept going. Do you want to keep going? That's what
I'm
we're
just
here
saying
for.
that I think that was the main lesson. I think that was the main lesson that I learned is like being genuine will get you genuine results. Yeah,
Ooh, that's a yep.
I know. I like
That's
that. I was
that's a
thinking I have to
word.
write that down
Let
after.
me write that down real quick.
I was like,
Hey
dang.
yo, that is rich. Okay.
Mhm.
Have you dealt with burnout, specifically with social media, and how have you navigated that in the past or in the present? I don't know. You could be burnt out right now. I don't
Yeah.
who's to say. But yeah.
I think that was one of my favorite questions on here because 100% I've dealt with burnout, and it was really hard because I felt like I kind of had a little bit of an obligation to keep going. Um
Mm,
and it's more so because, there's so many comments too there that are like, oh, I'm just learning how to play. I can't wait to sound like you and all this stuff. And it's like, it's crazy because I never thought that, I mean, sure, there's other pianists on social media that I look up to. And so it only makes sense that there's people that look up to me. But, dealing with so much self doubt and self criticism and all this stuff, I'm like, oh, nobody can look at my playing and think like, oh, I want to be like that one day because there's so many mistakes and flaws and stuff like that. And so I think when it comes to burnout, there was a point where I was trying to go live a lot. And I do live practices, I do strictly learnings, and the live practices are pieces that I'm currently working on that are a little bit further developed. They might not be finished yet, but on the live, I'm just practicing the parts that I know. And then for the strictly learnings, it's me learning a piece real time. And so the live practices started because I wanted to get used to playing with people watching because again, I had really bad stage fright. And so I took little tiny steps to get past that. The practice kind of alleviated the pressure of having to play it perfectly. And so I was like, okay, this is good. This is a good way to get used to playing with people watching, but I can still make mistakes, which I will be making mistakes anyways. But, and then the strictly learnings is more so this is what goes into learning a piece. So everything you see on my page, that little dad joke song, it all started somewhere. And this is where it started. And it doesn't sound the best. I always tell people that. I say, hey, look, I'm letting you know now, this isn't me talking down on my playing. This is me talking facts. Like, it's not going to sound good. I'm going to be hitting wrong notes. I'm going to be hitting wrong rhythms. It's not going to sound good. But I encourage you to come back in a week and you will see the progress that's been made just from practicing. And so I've been
mm,
doing those two. And I really enjoy doing that because it shows everybody the behind the scenes. And I think for a while I said in my little live description, I would put behind the scenes of a self taught pianist or something like that. And
mhm.
so with that came a lot of criticism and a lot of unsolicited advice because people sometimes hear self taught and they think they don't know what they're doing. They don't know my background in band. They don't know my background in knowing that there's certain flaws that I need to work on, that I am consciously working on or actively working on, or something that I might not want to work on live while people are watching. Um, they don't know about the several years where I've been telling myself that I'm not good enough as a pianist or that I can never play, this composer. I can never play like this person. And so they don't know all that. So they just come in, they focus on the negative, and that got really exhausting because I got tired of repeating myself saying like I don't want unsolicited advice. I'm most likely working on what you're going to point out, but you just don't know
mm,
that. Or I'm most likely trying to give myself a pep talk as we speak, but you don't know that,
mm,
And so that got really tiring. And then it also got tiring because it's like so many people follow me, but then whenever I go live, it's sometimes there's like one person in there, and then I'll look over at the screen and it's zero, and I'm like, do I end it now while nobody's in here, or do I keep going? Like, I'm like, this is awkward. And then it's like other times, like you were saying earlier, I'll spend so much time on something and I'll post it. I'm really excited about it and it doesn't get pushed out. And then the things that take 5 seconds get pushed out. And so that burnout was real. And I think that was earlier this year. I was just so tired. I was just like, okay, I feel like all my efforts are kind of, I feel like they're kind of in vain a little bit, but at the same time, it didn't start off for other people. It was something that I enjoyed that I wanted to share. But when you get the amount of traffic that you do, you get excited that your stuff that you wanted to share is finally going to get out there just for it to
mm,
not get out there. And so that first video that went viral, I was really excited. I was like, this is my opportunity, like standing right in front of me, or whatever the song goes. Like, I was like, look, we gonna do this. Like, I'm so excited. People are gonna see my trapsicles. Like, people are gonna see this, people are gonna see this. And then I worked on a trapsicle for days just to post it for it to go nowhere pretty much. And I don't want
mm,
to discredit the one like or the two like or the two shares or whatever. Like I appreciate them so much. I really do. And I'm not discrediting them. I'm not like not acknowledging them. But it's just I was so excited for it to, get out there. You know what I mean? And
mm,
so I feel like burnout is real in that aspect because it's like, okay, why am I going to keep doing this if I'm going to be disappointed every single time? I was just dealing with this last month because in September they do this thing called the Great Cycle Challenge, and I was talking about it a little bit on my page. But it's a month-long research fund initiative for kids' cancer, and the participant will pledge a certain amount of miles to bike. It's like a biking initiative, and then they'll pledge a certain amount of uh, dollars to raise. And so I was so mad because I had posted a dad joke. It got over 200,000 likes. And then I posted about the kids' cancer research. And I don't mean to laugh, but I'm just like, it's almost like you laugh to keep from going insane because it's like I posted about that and it less than 100 views. Like, y'all, this is more important. What is
mm,
what? I was so mad, and it was crazy because the amount of times that I posted about the Kids Cancer Research Initiative got less views in total, collectively, in total, than the one dad joke. And I'm like, this is insane. This is insane. Like you have got to be kidding me. And I was getting so mad. And so I was like, all right, you gotta give the people what they want. And so I was trying to do like a dad joke fundraising live. It was just me, myself, and
mm.
I just reading dad jokes. It was embarrassing, but I was like, what do I have to do? But you know what? We reached the goal. So that's good. But usually when it comes to burnout, if ever I get burnt out by going live or whatever, I'll just take a break. I'll stop going live. I will, and I'm just coming off of taking a break from going live, but usually I'll stop going live and then I'll just work on music. I'll get back into my creative side. I'll, compose something. I will, work on some new pieces that I wanted to learn, my end of the year goal piece, things like that. And so I'll just take some
Mm.
time for myself. I'll still post. And there's a lot of times where I have, posts that are in my drafts that I can just, post that I can post when I don't feel like posting, if that makes sense. So
Good
there's
old
just like really
repost. Love a
simple.
good old repost.
Yeah, I just because I want to keep it active and I know that's the way to keep like you have to post every day. So I do try to post at least once a day, but it does get tiring. It really does. And sometimes I'm like, what's the point? I try doing giveaways to gain traffic and those are related to like I'll do weekly giveaways and those are just questions related to my non-dad joke piano content. So things like, oh, what are my two favorite genres to play? Or who are my two favorite composers? Name one of my end of the year goal pieces, like things about me, but strictly related to piano. And
Mhm.
so that's been doing kind of well. Like there's a couple where nobody answered, but the questions were kind of hard. So I don't blame them. But, that's been doing pretty well. And then I'll just give them like the dad joke sign or a dad joke book. So it's like, y'all give me what I want, I'll give you what you want type of
Mhm.
thing.
I
Yeah.
love it. And that's a really dope way to garner engagement in a way that's a little bit more personal because
Right.
engagement by social media standards is a like, comment, share,
Mhm.
whatever. But when you have a giveaway, like it's more personal and it's
Right.
more, I guess, it's more real
Right. Right.
because
Yeah.
yeah, you can see the like, but when you actually give me something in real life, it's like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
You actually do want to interact with me as a human, not just
Yes.
as a profile name.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing too, because like for all the giveaways, like I did monthly giveaways too, but for those you have to subscribe and you can only do that when I'm live. So those are on pause because I'm not live as much.
Mm,
I might try to start that back up in November, but we'll see. But for the weekly giveaways, yeah, I like writing notes. I'll write notes to every single person that participates and I'll put it in the little thing and I like filming the giveaway packaging and stuff like that because I like showing them that yes, I am a real person and I obviously know that they're a real person too, but it's nice when they engage and it's like when they answer quickly, I'm like, "Oh my God, they know me." It's like it's questions related to me as a person. So it's like,
mm,
okay, it's not, and some of it will be where they have to look through my playlist or something like that. Like one of them was Name a Simple Cover that I did in September. So it's like they have to go to the Simple Covers playlist to see what I posted in September. And they might have to scroll a little bit to find something, but they want the sign. So they're like, okay. And then as they're scrolling, they're like, wait, okay, I don't remember seeing this post. I don't remember. So it's like everything kind of ties back to the engagement. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay. I have a question. Have you ever been paid to create content, or like have you ever done any collabs with brands or anything? Because like whenever I go through people's social media, it's like, oh snap, this is paid sponsorship, like
Hmm.
paid partnership for sponsor. This is so dope. Have you ever done that before?
So it's funny because yes, kind of. So I've done collaborations and I've also done I tried I tried being one of those unbrushed girlies, but that the unbrushed, the shadow journal, I'm like, let me get my bag, okay? And that's the funny thing too, because for when it comes to, so I'll say this first. I did do a couple collaborations that I'm really excited about. Um, I don't know how much I can speak to the last one that I did, but I'm just gonna say I'm really, really excited about it. It was a project that I was 100% on board with, in terms of like I really gave it my all because, and not saying that I didn't give it my all for the other projects that I worked with, but for everything that I've gotten paid for the last project was something that was completely on brand and I was really excited about it. And I, composed, pretty much I composed a piece for it or I arranged a piece for it. And I was sending her uh, different versions of the piece along the way. And then there was like intermediate deadlines that I had personally set for myself so that if there was something she wanted to change or fix, I can go ahead and do that. So I've done that. And then there were a couple other projects. I've been on a concept album, which is really fun. I didn't know what a concept album was at the start of it, but it was really fun. And it's called Siren Song by Chichi Onua. I think hopefully I pronounced her last name right. But I want to say she majored in theater. So she it was like a concept album, storytelling, and it was really fun creating music for that. And that really got me back into the composing side of things because I used to
Mm.
compose all the time when I was younger. Like I have one of my old phones around here has crazy amount of music on there that I recorded unprofessionally. And so there was that. And then there was another one called Games for Black Girls. And that one, I just kind of shared my story of being a Black self taught classical pianist. And so that was really interesting too. But when it comes to the actual brands, I haven't really been lucky in a sense. I would like to do brand collaborations, and I feel like I have a way of tying everything into piano, but also tying it back to the brand. And so it's funny because like I really could think of something piano related for anything. And I did try to, I don't know if you've seen like my Let Her Cook series. It's I want to stop saying that my stuff is stupid, but it low key is a little stupid, but it's funny, well, I think it's funny, but pretty much like, how when people are like, oh, let them cook or let her cook or
Mm.
something. So
Yep.
like pretty much the gist of it is I'll be playing something terribly on the piano and then they'll say, oh, when somebody comments, let her cook on my live. And then I'll pretend like I'm looking at the camera and I read, oh, let her cook. And I'm like, hmm. And then I'll actually go cook a meal and I'm like filming me cooking an actual meal. And then I'll come back to the piano and play it perfectly. Like, so I'm trying to do like play on words, but take it like actually literally. And so
Mhm.
I'm like, that would be a perfect brand collaboration for a set of pots and pans. You know what I mean? So I'm like, look, y'all, I'm telling you, I could literally do this for anything. But it's just really funny because um, I did a brand collaboration heavy on the quotes because it was for Do or Drink or yeah, Do or
Mm.
Drink, Act It Out or
That's a card
something.
game.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that didn't go so well. I was like, wait. I was like, y'all, I put thought into this ad. Like, why isn't it viral? Why ain't I get my bag yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
That is that's amazing. And then it's funny because you mentioned you had a background in business from
Mhm.
undergrad, and then seeing how you tie all of that into social media and then essentially monetizing creativity.
Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
I
amazing.
use, for real, I use my degree for social media more than I do for my actual job. I really do. And it's funny because I keep thinking about that too, like, oh, marketing, like what people are following, I'm not really great with algorithms. I'm not great with consistency at all. And I'm really trying to do better with that, but it's going to be a while. But it's funny because, yeah, I use my business degree for, social media. I'm like, okay, if I post this, if I engage, and that an engagement with everybody that comments is genuine. It's not just like a business transaction or anything like that. And I feel bad because like sometimes I'll look at other people's videos and they're responding to every single comment. And I'm like, it's just so hard to do that because, there's so many. But I try to post videos every once in a while, thanking everybody, like, thank you guys so much for the love. Thank you for like your support and engagement. But it's so hard to get every single person when there's like hundreds of comments or respond to every single person. And so it's a little difficult in that aspect, especially because piano alone takes up so much time. And I think
Mhm.
that's something that people don't really realize because it's like, if you like, I don't want to talk down any other art, so I'm not going to, but in relation to piano, it's like so much goes into it. Like, you have to figure out the piece, you have to learn the piece, you have to practice the piece, then you have to get it ready for recording, then you have to post it. And so there's like so much like those steps before the final product takes so much time that it's like literally when I'm not on my phone, I'm at my piano practicing something or learning something. So it's just like, when do I have time to do this? Like, and there'll be times where I'm like trying to go through the comments and it's like late at night and I'm like falling asleep and I wake up and it's like report comment and I'm like, no, don't
No,
report
no, 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 wait,
comment.
no.
So it's like, it's crazy because there's so much that, it takes up so much time as it is. So my thank you is like posting again in a sense. If I
Mm.
don't know if that makes sense. Like my thank you is creating more content for people to enjoy.
Wow. So we have a little bit time left. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, dang. I did the terrible thing where I did not come with questions. I do
Well,
love
you're not
your
getting
nostalgia
hired for
videos
this
though.
job.
I do love your nostalgia videos though. Those be killing me. Like for real. Those be the Lion King ones. That was my all-time favorite Disney movie. So that one had me dying. And it was funny because like my sister had she texted me something and it was something along the lines of that very same song. I can't remember what's it called. It was like the Disgrace one.
It's called this. People call it deception. I don't know what the
Deception.
actual song name is,
Right.
but deception for
It was
all
that
intents and
one. And I was
purposes.
like, I have to show you this video. And I literally like scrolled because I was like, I remember I liked it. And I like scrolled through and I was like, here it is. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of questions, but I like this. Do you do this with a lot of creators
Yeah,
or
my whole vision for this is essentially to become your the favorite content creator who interviews your favorite content creators.
oh, I like
So,
that.
like a lot of like we just MDM Network, just in general,
Hmm.
I'm creating a essentially like a media network, all encompassing, not just like people on TikTok, but like, I want to connect with artists
Hmm.
and different types of creatives and literally create like a network of people, like as a support network, opportunities to collaborate, and also have like social media services that I offer to people with helping people who need help with like how to build their own brand in social media,
Hmm.
like businesses who need help with their social media platforms and stuff like that. But as I'm building it out, like these types of conversations, like you are number four. You're going to be interview number four that I've done so far.
Oh wow.
And like I want to like I can already see this like 20 to 50 interviews down the line. Or like
Hmm.
after a certain point, it's like, whoa, here are all these people with different angles to social media, different angles to TikTok specifically, whatever. And this is how different creatives create. And this is how different people have different creative processes. And this is
Right.
life outside of social media.
Hmm.
And like I want to
Yeah.
provide a platform for people who are known for just like one or two things on their platform. I want to give them a an opportunity to talk about things they don't typically talk about, but they
Yeah.
would love to share with people. So like the
Hmm.
one thing that you mentioned about being an English conversational tutor, like that
Right.
is so dope. That is so dope. And I know that it's close to your heart, but you may not
Yeah.
talk about it too much. But that is such a dope thing for people to know about Cassidy. Like, yo, that's dope. It's not just the keyboard. It's not
Right.
just the
Right.
piano. Like we out here.
Yeah.
So showing like the multidimensionality of content creators and creatives, like just in their holistic human form,
Hmm.
that's what these interviews and these conversations are about. So yeah,
I like that.
that's what we're
Yeah.
on.
I like that a lot because it makes sense, like it's so true that I feel like there's a whole personality that people don't really see. Well, I'm not speaking for myself, but I'm saying for like I'm like, look, what you see is
Y'all
what
gonna
you
get what you
get.
get.
Yeah, what you see is what you get. Like I'm sorry, but I feel like for other content creators that I follow and stuff, I'm like, what are you really like? Or, is there something else, because that's true because I wouldn't think to talk about the English conversation tables because it's not related to piano. Or I wouldn't think to talk about Project Sudoku because it's not related to piano. So I like that aspect of it. I mean this was really fun for me. Anytime I'm talking about piano or anything like that, I'm always having a good time. So
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time.
thank you.
And I will drop all of the socials where people can follow you and such in the description of where this will be posted and such. But this is so dope.
Thank you so much. This was
This
so
is
much
so dope.
fun. This was my first podcast ever. Like I've
Hey,
never I've never done an interview or anything like that. And yeah, so I didn't know what to expect, but I was really excited with the questions that you sent before. And so it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, I could talk about this for days.